You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show.
Line that's supposed to be present, and I can't seem to figure that out. Also, you have to turn the thing while you're painting. It's very meticulous.
But it's just your first month. You gotta give it some time.
Well, I guess I have to, but I'd really kind of rather go back to the mines.
Well,
Those guys were great.
By November, I think you're gonna be an expert. You'll be a pro. Well, welcome to Elf Centered, everybody. My name is Gavin.
I'm Gary.
And we are back here. Beatrice is on assignment. She's not with us today, but
Right.
She will join us again next time. And we hope you are having a wonderful first month at your new jobs. Hopefully you're having a better month than Gary's having.
Yeah.
And we also want to remind everybody that Mr. Barrow's big safety meeting is coming up on the 19th. So make sure you clear your calendars and you're there for the big safety meeting, because safety is pretty much job number 1 or 2 here at the North Pole. I think cheer is usually job number 1.
Right.
And then safety is number 2.
How do you like your job?
It is a lot of work, but I like it. The good thing is not a lot of people stay at the hotel, the Claus Hotel. No, not a lot of people stay there. So in terms of the cleaning aspect of it, the rooms are pretty much empty most of the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I did meet somebody, a guest who is going to drop by the studio today.
Oh, yeah? Who?
I hope you're very excited. This is going to be interesting to say the least.
Coming in there?
Oh, right in here, please.
Hi. Oh.
Right.
Hi. Oh, you're recording.
We are recording. Yeah, I told you it would be an interview.
Yeah, I am so sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. We understand. We're honored to have you. This is Gary.
Oh, hi, Gary. How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you a good boy?
Yeah, I'm very good.
And
Sticker.
and it was a pleasure meeting you over at the hotel. Gary, do you know who this is?
Yeah.
It's Krampuss.
Hi.
I know. Hi.
Yeah, Krampus.
I've seen him before.
Well, have we met? Because you don't look familiar to me.
It's been a while, and I was actually, when you came over, I
Yeah?
was hiding underneath the couch.
Oh, no.
But you took my brother.
Yeah. Oh, right. I remember. Oh, he was terrible. Yeah.
Terry.
He fought all the way down to heck. I had to use double rusty chains on him.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
Yeah. Bad kid.
Well, mischievous.
No, I'd go as far as saying bad. I don't think you knew the whole story.
Maybe I didn't.
Yeah, my records are excellent. So, I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, well, you're up here at the North Pole visiting your good friend Santa.
Yeah.
And you do vacation up here often?
Oh, well, I try, if I'm available this time of year before things really heat up, to to leave my vacation spot in Rio, or I shouldn't say my vacation spot, my actual home. I'm a resident there, and come up and say hi, chillax a little bit before
Right.
things start getting going.
Right. Do you and Santa plan a lot before you head out for the? I mean, I know your night is sort of the night before Christmas, but
Yeah.
do you plan, you compare notes and everything?
Oh, there's communications, definitely. We compare lists of, who's been naughty, who's been nice. Usually in emails. We just created one of those databases in the cloud where, if I enter something, he gets it immediately,
Wow.
So if it's like, oh, Rodney Johnson is a really awful child, he can know that almost in real time.
Wow.
Yeah, to really streamline things, which is why I don't have to get started in, February now.
Right.
I can put it off till a little bit later.
That is
Yeah.
great. How did you get into the child punishing business? I mean, that seems like an interesting job to get into.
Well, really what it was is it was a team act. It was a two-hander with Nikki and I. But he, as you know, is super capable and a little bit of a control freak, and I say that with love. I really do. So he had the presence, completely under control and all that kind of stuff. There was really not much for me to do. But one thing he found unpalatable was scaring children, chaining them up in rusty chains, dragging them down to the netherworld, trying to block out their screams and cries of anguish and terror. And for me, that was a natural talent. I don't know. I just go to someplace else in my head. Sometimes I use earbuds and listen to music. So someone had to do it, and we just divided the labor that way.
Yeah, it seems like Santa, the extent of his scolding was a lump of coal.
Right, yeah,
Seems
which is
pretty tame.
passive-aggressive, frankly.
Yeah.
You know, if a kid has been naughty, giving them coal is kind of like, a little wink and a nod. But when they've been really bad, no, they got to go to heck. I don't like to say the other H word.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay,
that's
good.
fine. And this is you have an interesting job because you're punishing the bad children, but I think ultimately your goal would be that there would be no bad. I mean, isn't that the goal? Is that there's no bad children?
No, because it's not really corrective, right? I'm not providing therapy or any kind of interventions that are meant to rehabilitate. Now, it's kind of like it's the third strike kind of thing, I suppose we could go into that line of work, but who's really got the time? And most of these kids really are just rotten. They're incorrigible. They're not going to get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Terry,
I'm taking out the trash.
Well, and I guess we're lucky because if you were not, we would have to make even more toys and things.
Well, yeah, and also if I wasn't taking out the trash, you guys would have a lot more crime and a lot more annoying people in the world. I mean, there have been a few that I missed that I should have taken down, to Hades, and they just slipped. Of course, this was before we had the database.
Right.
So I think you're going to see an uptick in civility and kindness in the coming decades.
Is there an age cutoff to where he's 18, I can't touch him. He's terrible, but I can't touch him.
No, that's kind of a myth, I will say that for adults that I have to drag screaming and kicking down to heck, they're really shocked. The kids are like, I knew this was going to happen. Please don't. Give me another chance. I'll be good. The adults generally just their mouths are hanging open. They can't believe that this is happening.
Is it because children have still believe in or recognize the magic and adults don't anymore?
It's pretty much that, Yeah. And I think sometimes their cynicism is what led them to being so horrible. And, and then off we go.
So, what is a Krampus? I mean, you.
Yeah, there's not a Krampus, the
Right.
Krampus.
What do you do in
Krampus.
your free time?
Oh gosh. I have a Pinterest board of antique musical instruments.
Wow.
A lot of harpsichords, clavichords, sackbuts, which are kind of an early wind instrument. Zithers, lyres, harps, recorders, hautbois, oboes, and so I do that, and then also I really like to meditate and do anxiety diminishing activities. Hot stone massages and things, because my job, it can stress you out if you let it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. I've got a stressful job too.
Really? And what are you doing now these days?
Well, I'm a candy cane striper.
You like that?
I don't really like it.
Oh, you should.
Should I?
Yeah, you really should like it. Because if you don't, then you're ungrateful. And, well, do I have to spell it out for you?
Nope.
Be thankful.
Yes, I am thankful. I will.
You don't seem thankful. You seem like you're faking it.
Hey, I can't wait to get to work. After this, I'm going straight to the candy stripers.
You gonna do some overtime?
I'm gonna do some overtime, and I don't even expect any kind of payment for it because it's a joy.
Right.
It's a real joy.
Okay, well, you have got about 5.5, 6 months to get your act together, because guess what? I can see, just like Nick knows when you've been sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows when you've been bad or good. Be good for goodness sake. I'm Krampus. I know when you're lying, and guess what? You're lying.
Well, what activities when you come up here to visit and hang out with St. Nicholas? What do you go on any of the dog sled adventures or ice skating? What is
You know what? I do go on the dog sled adventures. Those are a lot of fun. The ice skating I've had to give up because I've got a vestibular condition, so my balance isn't great anymore. So that can be kind of hard.
Is it hard to find ice skates with the hooves?
I can pretty much get anything I want. And actually, let's talk about the hooves, because you've seen drawings of me. Mm-hmm. You've seen all these artistic renditions.
The long tongue, the horns.
The horns, the tail, the fur,
horrifying.
the scary goat or cat eyes, the flaring nostrils. But I'm sitting right in front of you. Other than the hooves, what do you see that is so scary?
Well, besides the pile of rusty chains next to you,
And
really,
the baskets with the red substance oozing out of them.
Well, I just came from a pickup.
Do you have someone in there?
I can't really say. I have an NDA.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, with all the privacy laws that are going around now, I can't just tell you, Peter Bodarth, is in my basket, because I will get sued by the Bodarth family.
Right.
Right?
But that's not who's in your basket.
Oh, no.
No, okay.
Like you wouldn't want to tell us like one of Will Smith's kids is in your basket.
Not yet.
So you have been doing this for so long. I mean, your career just spans centuries.
Yeah.
Do you have one night that just sticks out in particular? One memorable evening?
Yes. It was Christmas Eve or Krampusnacht. 936, I think. I don't know what it was about those 10th century kids, but they were horrible. They'd call everyone a witch and set them on fire. They stole like nobody's business. They were disrespectful to their parents. And my workload was so high that night that I actually had to get temps to work with me.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't cover it. And of course, Nick, he didn't have all that many good kids that night. So, he was home by, I think, like 4 a.m. back in the whirlpool. And, and I was going well until the 27th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's, you mentioned that was a bad time, lots of bad kids. How do the kids today measure up to, are these kids better or worse compared to, centuries past?
Well, I'd say that it's stabilized over the last couple decades in terms of real bad behavior, but here's what the uptick is. It's attitude and entitlement and sass. Mm-hmm. Kids used to, in the Victorian era, they were terrified. They would just, let their mouths drop open and their eyes would well up in tears. And, all right, while they're in shock, I get them into the basket or into the chains. But these kids now, they are so mouthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give me lip.
Like back then they had like Charles Dickens had all his propaganda stories to put terror into the children to be good.
It helped. And, and of course those kids were so malnourished. They were, eating porridge or shoe leather. So they didn't have a lot of strength to have so much sass. But kids now with all their kombucha tea and their, organic foods and they're stronger and they've got just these terrible attitudes. But back to propaganda, I've gotten kind of a bad rap, I think, over the centuries.
I think so. Sitting here talking to you, you're certainly. When I first heard, no offense.
Right.
When I first heard you were checking into the hotel, I was like, I don't want to meet him in the hallway. I don't want to. But then I did meet you in the hallway, and you were so pleasant, and you agreed to come on to the show. And my opinion has totally changed.
Well, thank you. And really what it comes down to is prejudice, prejudging, right? And people have heard things, they believe them, they take them lock, stock, and barrel, and then I gotta do a lot of work to dig myself out of this pit. And a lot of it came from somewhere between the 10th and 12th centuries that there was just a lot of bad press. Of bad press. Mostly, I think, because I looked a little bit like the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There were a few popes back then that just were not having it. I'm like, I had meetings with them. I'm like, dude, I am helping you out here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I can hardly notice the horns. Maybe it's the way you wear your hair.
Well, they're regrowing. Like deer and antler, I shed them every year and then regrow them.
Oh,
wow.
Do they have like those furry nubs? Like that, like as they're growing, there's a kind of a velvety.
Yeah.
Like when they are initially growing out.
Oh yeah, it's very soft.
Oh.
It's kind of like the inside of a jewelry box. That kind of flocked faux velvet. It's yeah.
Well, I don't want
My girlfriend loves it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I didn't want to get too personal, but we know that Santa Claus has Mrs. Claus. But is there a special lady in your life?
There is, and she prefers to remain anonymous. But I will tell you this: instead of hair, she has snakes. So you do the math.
Oh,
interesting.
I bet I know. I won't mention it. But
Yeah.
It starts with the
I
letter.
won't mention it, and I will not look at her.
Oh, do not.
No.
We have so many statues at our house. We don't know what to do with them.
Friends are coming over, honey.
Yeah. No mirrors either.
Right.
Right. Well, Krampus, thank you so much for coming by to talk to us today.
pleasure.
This has been so nice. And, I hope to see you again, but not for an official visit, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Oh, and I brought you guys a couple gifts.
Oh.
So here, the one for you and one for you, and you can open them now if you like.
All right. It's a starter switch.
Uh-huh.
This is amazing. Like, so I can unleash. Am I allowed to unleash my own brand of punishment, or is this like entrapment, where if I do, then I will get punished?
Oh, no. As long as the recipient deserves it, switch away.
And it's autographed. Look at that.
Oh, man.
I'm going to hang this above my fireplace. Thank you so much.
Well, let's see what I got. Oh. It's a pile of reindeer crap.
Well, but he must know that you like reindeer. You love animals.
That must be it.
Could be. You'll figure it out. La 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 la.
Well, we want to remind everybody that the 19th is the big safety meeting with Mr. Barrow, and we just want to say the forecast really quick. Tonight you were in for some snow, and continuing snow on through the rest of the week. Krampus, again, thank you very much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Oh, what a joy. What a joy.
Thank you.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Gary, can you take that? That smells. Can you just take it out?
Well, it was a gift. I don't want to be rude.
This episode of Elf Centered was completely improvised by Chris Sheets, Grant Baciocco, and special guest star Patrick Bristow as Krampus. Visit Patrick at patrickbristow.com. Gavin and Gary could not help themselves. They asked Krampus about the possibility of a murder at the North Pole. You will not believe his answer. To hear it, download the free Saturday Morning Media app for iOS and Android and hit the button that says bonus in the entry for this episode. For more information on how to download the app, visit www.saturdaymorningmedia.com/app. Elf Centered is a production of Saturday Morning Media and made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to www.patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a monthly donation for as little as $1 a month. Huge thanks to Shay Stewart, Merle Lafferty, Jeff Peterson, Dale Gadania, Stephen Staver, Jackie Klimo, Melissa Crawford, Chuck, Matthew Wayne Selznick, Dave Slusher, Mike Coughlin, Dorothy Baciocco, John D., Kathy Crawford, Brian Greer, Carrie Whitney, Chuck Tomasi, Chris Foster, Stephen Ing, Clinton of ComedyForecast.com, Vicky DeVries, Mike Wobschall, and Twitter user Butzingear, a.k.a. Wildcat. You can visit the Elves of Elf Centered over at their website, www.elfcenteredshow.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back in 1 month with another episode of Elf Centered. Elf Centered is copyright 2016 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer. All rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com. You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.